Two ways of writing the introduction, hands down. There are many ways to write an introduction. In this video, I'm going to teach you the two easiest and most effective ways to write the introduction. The first way of writing the introduction hands down is by paraphrasing sentences in the question. After paraphrasing sentences in the question, all you need to do is to present your position clearly in one sentence, which will be your thesis statement. It functions to guide your readers and let them understand what your essay is about. If you write your introduction in this way, your introductory paragraph is likely to consist of 2 or 3 sentences. For those of you who are not familiar with the concept of paraphrasing or have no idea what it is, paraphrasing is a way of rewriting sentences using different sentence structures or vocabulary while preserving the meaning of the original sentences. In this way, you'll be able to keep the key idea that was in the original sentence, but only express it in a different way. Simply speaking, the content is the same, but only how the content is delivered is different. Imagine jam in a jar and the same jam spread on a slice of bread. In fact, they are the same jam. Now, let's take a look at sample questions and write introductions by paraphrasing. I'm going to use sample question 2 as our first example. First, you should paraphrase sentences. You have 2 sentences in the question followed by an instruction. All you need to do is to paraphrase the 2 sentences that provide context. Then, you need to give a thesis statement that directly responds to the instruction and give an idea of what your essay is about. These are the 2 sentences that you need to paraphrase. Remember, what you need to do is to keep the main ideas as they are in the original sentences, but deliver them differently. Here's how I've paraphrased them. It is undeniable that famous sports players gain a lot more income than those engaged in important occupations. Some people believe it is fair, whilst others think this can be barely justified. Now, look at how the main ideas are expressed differently in the new sentences by comparing the 2 versions, original and paraphrased. I started my new sentence with "It is undeniable that." This changes the whole sentence structure. In the question, it states successful sports professionals. The new sentence says famous sports players. Instead of earn, the word gain is used. In place of a great deal more money, I wrote a lot more income. In place of writing people in other important professions, I wrote those engaged in important occupations. In the second sentence, I wrote believe in place of think. Instead of writing fully justified, I wrote fair. I substituted unfair with can barely be justified. Please note that synonyms come in handy when paraphrasing. Therefore, the more vocabulary you know, the easier it becomes to paraphrase. Different vocabulary changes the complexion of sentences and make them look colorful and different from the original sentences. After you've paraphrased the sentences in the question, always add one sentence that directly answers the instructional sentence in the question at the end of your introduction. In this case, the instruction asks you to discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So, in your thesis statement, you can simply write, "This essay will discuss both views, then present my personal opinion." This is the completed introduction. I'm going to use sample question 2 as our next example. Let's have a look at it. In this question, you only have one sentence that gives context. This is the only sentence that you need to paraphrase. Here's my example. There is no doubt that we are producing a great amount of rubbish nowadays. I started with "there's no doubt," and this gives an impression that my sentence is different from the original sentence in the question paper. I replaced "more and more rubbish" with a greater amount of rubbish. I also placed the word nowadays at the end of the sentence. I simply paraphrased the original sentence into a new one. All there's left for me to do in order to complete my introductory paragraph is to respond to instructional sentences in one simple thesis statement. Hence, I added, this essay will examine the causes of this problem and suggest what the government can do to solve this problem. Now I'm done with my introduction and ready to take off for body paragraphs. The second way of writing the introduction hands down is by using a funnel structure. Imagine a funnel.